I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. All who can, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. Bishop, please lead the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, thank you. Brady for roll call.
Start with John Boyle.
Yes.
Mark Stroud.
Here.
Robert Bishop.
Here.
Dan Esco. On Zoom.
He's on Zoom.
Thomas Hutchinson.
Here.
And Chair Elizabeth.
Here. Just want to do a sound check with Dan. Dan, you can hear us, but let's check your sound.
Joe, I can hear you fine, but I can't really hear what anyone else is saying. I don't know what they're really saying.
Okay. Is that extended microphone on? Okay. Yeah, you can hear me though, Dan, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I would just propose maybe another board member can make the motion this evening.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see, we'll move to the minutes of October 23rd, 2023. If I can have a motion.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of October 23rd, 2023, as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Dan, I'm gonna put you as abstain. You weren't present for that one.
Got it.
Okay. Minutes for October 30th, 2023. Have a motion?
Sure. I make a motion to accept the minutes from October 30th, 2023, as presented.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Public address to the board. This is a time when the public may address the board on any item listed on the meeting agenda or on any issue or matter of the town. If you intend on addressing the board at this time, we ask that you do the following. Please identify yourself by name, address, or the company or institution you represent. Public address to the board segment will last no longer than 30 minutes. Please make your comments concise and try not to repeat statements made by others. Please address your comments to the board chair. Discussion or debate on any issue may now take place at this time. The chair or the designee may answer questions on procedural matters. Please be cordial and respectful of others. If anyone wishes to be recognized when the board discusses an agenda item, please make that request at this time. Board chair may grant this request. Address comments to the board chair and please be concise. We are meeting in person and making this meeting available via Zoom for the convenience of the public. Since we are meeting in person, we will not be responsible for any technical difficulties, so if you'd like to be sure of participating, please attend in person. Anybody to address the board this evening? Seeing none? Moving on to appointment ratifications. Mr. Hutchinson.
Yes, we have 4 this evening. 2 of them are to the Emergency Management Advisory Committee. These are people who were not around when we made the initial round of appointments to that committee. The first one is our town planner, Yanko Tomasic.
Great. If I can have a motion?
Sure. I make a motion to appoint Yako Thomason to the Emergency Management Advisory Committee effective November 14th, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. And then one for Jeff Birch.
Yes, again, Superintendent of Buildings and Grounds.
Is there a motion?
Sure. I'm making a motion to appoint Jeff Birch to the Emergency Management Advisory Committee effective November 14th, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed,
Aye.
abstentions, motion carries. Next one?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend we appoint Robert Bishop to the Cable Advisory Committee effective November 14th, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Is there a second? Mr. Bull, can you second that?
Yeah, second.
Okay, motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anybody want to abstain on that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And next one, for Rachel Branch.
You may recognize Ms. Branch's name. She's an enthusiastic new participant in town government, and I'm pleased to recommend her for the Cable Advisory Committee, which I believe brings us to a quorum at least, and so business can start as far as that's concerned.
Great, perfect. Okay, I make a motion to appoint Rachel Branch to the Cable Advisory Committee effective November 14th, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hear none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. And Mr. Bishop, you want to move number 9?
Yes, I'd like to move number 9 up next.
Any objection? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to number 9, the special town meeting warrant. It should be in our packet.
Mr. Chair, just a note that the town clerk would, had preferred not to provide the printout of the warrant in case there were any amendments to it. They're all numbered pages in her register, and she prefers to have a final version of the warrant before she prints it out. So if this is accepted as is, this is what will be printed out on her special paper.
Okay.
And I'm afraid people will have to go into the town hall to sign it, but there's plenty of time to do that.
Sure. No problem. You want to walk through this for us, Tom?
Sure, there are 2 articles. Well, first, this is a warrant for a special town meeting to be held Wednesday, December 13th at 7 p.m. We had one last year in October, also on a Wednesday, instead of the usual Monday. 7 p.m. at Wacona Regional High School. The first article is to see if the town will transfer a sum of money from the General Stabilization Fund to the Police Outside Detail Fund, Fund 246. And that would add, the motion for that is proposed at $5,000, though that's, certainly up for revision up to and including the time when we make those motions.
Could I make a suggestion to move that up to 20,000?
That's fine, but again, that would be the motion
Okay.
rather than the article itself.
Tom, where did the number 5,000 come from?
It was in discussion. I recall it from the statement. I'm fine with whatever number the board wants for that.
We don't need to specify in the article, but to your point, that would be a motion that we develop.
Yeah, if you'd like to propose that now, that's fine. I will
Is the
say,
issue here?
I did use that figure as an example to the Finance Committee at their
Okay.
last meeting.
Okay, Mr. Chief, can you come forward for a sec? Just want to get your opinion on this. And Becky too, if you want to join. Do you have a number in mind as you kind of look at
I do.
financials?
I do. So Tom and I are meeting tomorrow to go over the account activity of this. The issue is we're invoicing out well over $30,000 a month. It's about 4-week return time. So the other issue that I have is, and Tom's also going to give me the last couple years of account activity. This account's not balanced. It hasn't been balanced in a really long time. I can't find $6,000. I've been looking. I can't find it till I can access that. The highest this has ever been with a $25,000 account is $19,000 in February of 22. So it's never actually been, I don't think it's been balanced. We're not getting back to the $25,000 like we should. My suggestion is, if I spent substantial amount of time on the phone today with DOR, with the attorneys from DOR. They agree a revolving account is appropriate. They think the best practice is an appropriation to supplement the revolving account in case of delay in receiving payment from the vendor. Best practice is to make sure we supplement that account substantially so we don't operate in a deficit. It's not illegal or against the law to do so, but it's not best practice either. So I think we need to supplement that account with a minimum of an additional $20,000 to make sure we don't operate at a deficit. $5,000 is not probably going to cut it. Not when we're, sending out Like I can give you specific numbers here from, you know, hold on, I've got a lot of paper here. So from July of 23 to 11/13, which is today, so week ending Sunday, we have billed out $74,009.50. We have taken in so far $61,979.
What was the dates again?
From July 3rd of 23 until Sunday, this Sunday.
And what was the number again?
$74,009.50.
We billed out?
We've billed out. And we've taken in so far $61,979. So, you know, it's about a high 12,000 and change difference that's still out there that we're, you know,
And
getting in.
the estimated time for payment is anywhere from 4 to 6
4 to
weeks.
6 weeks, although we have changed that. We've been working with the town clerk to take on the invoicing. I also met with DOR today about that. This account, as all of you know, I was not here on October 30th. I was at a prior engagement, and the account became my responsibility. I take that seriously, and if it's going to be my responsibility, I want it to be my responsibility. I want to make sure that the billing goes out. I want to make sure that I know what's coming in. DOR said that's what they thought was the acceptable practice. So we've always created the invoices anyway, and usually the town clerk mails those, puts them on her letterhead and mails them. We have met with her to request us to just mail them and collect them and give the deposits to the treasurer.
So you guys are working on the mechanics of it?
We are,
Okay.
and we're meeting tomorrow to kind of iron that
So you
out.
think a fair number to ask the town to supplement that fund is 20,000?
I think minimum 20, maximum of 25, you know, because the detail rate did increase in July 1st based on union contract negotiations with the town. So, and that has not been helpful to keeping that above the deficit line.
So, Mr. Bishop, would you like to recommend a motion for 20,000 for this warrant article?
You want to do it 25? I mean, would that?
Whatever you want to move the
Yeah.
motion to.
I make a motion to increase that to 25,000, please.
Is there a motion and a second to increase that fund to 25K, pending the results of the special town meeting vote? Any discussion? We got a motion and a second?
25,000, they were only asking for 20. I don't see why we have to put that much money into the account. We were never short that much.
We're in the negative right now, Dan. We're in the negative. I can't get us in the positive, and if it's best practice to be above the deficit, I need to have enough money to make sure when we're sending out a minimum of 32 to 35,000 a month in bills, and hopefully that's going to slow down over the winter, but so far it has not. We're filling about 20 details a week right now, which is a lot. And I have a lot of officers working because there's not a lot of town overtime, so that's where they need their extra money coming in from. So I said 20 minimum, 25 maximum. I would prefer the 25, but
Okay. So we got a motion and a second for 25. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Dan, you were a yes?
Yeah, I'll support it.
Okay, all right, thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Great, thank you, Chief.
thank you.
Okay, and Article 2, Mr. Hutchinson?
The second article reads now, to see if the town will authorize the select board to explore the process of dissolving the fire district and creating a town fire department, or to take any other action in relation thereto.
Great, thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. And just for the audience, this particular article, if the town votes to approve it, provides us the mechanism to explore, not to decide, but to explore the options of moving the fire department from the fire district to the town. There's a lot of other steps to this, and that's part of that exploration. Any other comments from the board?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr.
I would,
Ward.
at this point in time, not waste a lot of people's time this evening. I would make a motion to have this article stricken from the warrant.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion is second to strike this article from the warrant. Discussion?
Yeah, I kind of support it also. I don't think it's time to do this yet. Number one, we haven't even talked to the fire people. Number two, they need a new chief, so. And number three, there's a covenant in there, and if we dissolve this water department, we're gonna lose a lot of free water, and it could end up costing the town a hell of a lot more money.
I would suggest to our board members, that's why this would be an exploration and not a decision.
I just think it's sending the wrong message.
Okay.
I think we have more pressing priorities to attend to in the coming year. Maybe this is something we can take up in a future fiscal year. But with the reconstruction of the Walker Brook culvert, the significant cash outlay for that,
Okay.
coupled, with certainly other priorities,
So-
I don't want to increase the town's budget any more than we have to. And if we eventually got to the point of dissolving the water district, the fire district, we would inevitably have to increase the town budget and take over the assets and liabilities of that
Okay.
organization. I don't like the wording of this either. I didn't realize that we were even talking about exploring dissolving the fire district, which is also, it's commonly known as the water district. It's the same thing, right?
No.
Dalton Fire District, the bill we pay every,
They're separate.
semi-annually is our water bill.
No, they're separate.
No, there's no separate bill for our water. This is our water bill.
Is Jim still here? No.
Dalton Fire District controls the town water and the fire department, so I'm not
Okay.
sure why we'd be dissolving.
Well, again, this would be exploration.
Also, I don't think that we necessarily have the authority. I think it would require a public meeting of the fire district.
Yeah, Dan, you're correct. Was Dan at the last meeting, Tom? I don't think he was. Dan, were you at the last meeting?
Yeah, he was here.
Okay, so this is to explore those steps. And the board at our last meeting agreed to this article, and now three...
No, wait a minute.
Well,
That's not true. We didn't agree to nothing.
did we agree to this?
No,
Okay.
you never even brought the subject up. In fact, when you brought it up and started talking about it, Dan, Esco, and I both said, some of this magnitude should not be taken up at a special town meeting.
Okay, yeah.
And yet, we walk in here and here it is. I'm just stunned and amazed, and my apologies, guys, go out to you guys that took the night off to come down here for this. This is total BS. It should have never happened.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on striking this from the warrant. Any further discussion?
The only thing, and I'll agree with taking this off the ballot question or the special town meeting. I don't like the way it reads, and I don't like the last part of it too, take any action in relation there too. I just don't think we're at this point, and if this was something people are talking about, I'd like to see it come from a citizen petition to be put on a ballot.
Okay, through another.
That's where I would like to see that.
All right, so all in favor to strike this?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? So 4-1, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Sorry, we didn't have recliners and beds for your firemen.
Moving to number 7, DPW update. I can't hear you, Dan.
Did we vote on approving the town warrant with the Article 2 stripping? Is that what was for? Or just a-
Yeah, that was just for strike Article 2. We gotta go back and approve Article 1.
Okay.
Yep, so is there a motion to approve the article with Article 1?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Can I bring up a small point, but I think it's an important point before we proceed on this warrant,
On what topic?
the one we're just talking about, the warrant.
It's closed.
Well, this is important, I'm telling you, you should listen to me.
Bring it up to the, when we get to the agenda for select board updates.
Or items not anticipated.
Yeah. DPW update.
Here I am. The golf road update is what Tom mentioned, that's what he wanted me to come for, so I'll give you my golf road update. I emailed, I've made phone calls. I at least got an answer on the phone call. supposedly waiting on a sign off for environmental department in Pittsfield to work on that. I know their permit goes out at the end of this calendar year, so they still want to do it, they're just waiting on a sign off.
Wasn't the same update as last year from them?
Pretty much.
It feels like we've been on this for 2
is-
years.
Yes, this, exactly.
Almost 3.
Yeah,
The road's been closed for 2 full years.
Right.
And,
Yes,
well,
that's it, yeah.
well, I took a walk down there yesterday just to check it out.
Yep,
0, nothing, not even a tire track.
no, yeah, it's the same, we went down last week, just,
Yeah.
when I knew I was coming here, just to see if anything changed, but no. It's, it is,
When you talk to people, do you talk to Morales out there?
yep, that's why I emailed it back.
Yeah.
I talked to Vinnie Barbarotta, the highway super, like, he answered the phone, I called him. We chatted a little while about it.
Talked to him lately, that he,
I talked to him Thursday, last Thursday.
there's nothing,
Yeah,
not
he's
much is
waiting.
happening.
Right.
Okay,
Waiting on some sign-offs, just trying to, it's gonna work, man, with it.
So what's our objective with Gulf Road in general?
I mean, once I get it fixed, I mean, at this point, there'd be if they fix it tomorrow, I would say we wouldn't open it until next year anyways. Because we still got the road hasn't been graded, touched up in 2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5, going on 3.
And that's just our side, that's not even the Lanesboro side. I still have to coordinate with Lanesboro to straighten their side out, which we do
This is
anyways.
one of those topics where people are passionate on both sides.
Yeah,
People want it closed and people want it open.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground. They either want that so they can walk their dogs up there, or they want it open so they can drive their cars.
If we're to prioritize our roads, where would Gulf Road be on our list based upon the data that we collected?
I mean, I'm not,
Is it a road?
I mean,
It's a scenic road.
It's a scenic, I think isn't it like a scenic byway? Is that
Some
what-
kind of-
It's a scenic,
Like,
it's a
you're
scenic
not-
road,
You're
yeah.
not supposed to cut trees, I don't believe, or anything, like, it's all
supposed
kinds
to
of.
be paved.
The gravel roads in town were not graded by the street scan.
Right, yeah, we didn't do any,
I'm kind of asking the prioritization, where we put resource, time, and effort, you know?
it's kind of, usually, we spend a few days on it, we can get it back in order relatively quick. But, it's just been kind of neglected a little bit here for a few years, because we usually just go down and make sure there's no trees blocking it.
So we've been 2 years in and Pittsfield hasn't done their part, so I guess I'll defer to the board what communication we want to go to Pittsfield. Maybe something more formal from this board or from our town manager?
Is it just the Conservation Commission holding up Bud at this point?
I believe so, I think that's Vandekar's last name?
I'm not sure who their conservation
Environmental-
agent is.
environmental, I think
They have an
it's
agent that works through.
That's who it is, I guess at this point, he's gonna sign off something, from what I've heard.
You know,
All they
maybe
need to
the
do is
town
go out and
manager can
inspect
talk
it.
to the,
I thought
mayor.
the sign-off was on DEP's side.
Yeah, there still needed a different permit, I guess, for the city, because they've gotta know what to do with the material where the beaver's dammed up on the side of the road. Like, they can't just leave it, they gotta remove it, and wherever they go with that, I believe, is the issue.
So it would be helpful for our residents to complain to Pittsfield, or do we want to send some formal communication to Pittsfield and ask them for a timeline?
I'd love to see someone try something else, because whatever I'm trying doesn't seem to be working.
I think we should copy their Conservation Commission on it. Maybe we'll get them moving.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
The big town should call the mayor and ask for an appointment, and go talk to him.
The last time that.
The new mayor, I mean, he can't do any harm. He's pretty predisposed towards Dalton. He used to run the corner of the bank, right? He's a branch manager.
Is that a motion to direct our town manager to do that? If anybody have a motion here?
Sure, I'll make a motion. We asked the town manager, I know how busy he is, with the spare time. Well, we got 6 months here in the winter, so we're not in any rush. But contact the mayor and see if you can talk to him and explain to him the ongoing situation. As I said, this will be going on to the 3rd year by springtime.
Is there a second on that?
I'll second it.
Motion is second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. And the second one here, Bud, is Orchard Road.
Yep, Orchard Road, obviously, we got the grant.
Congratulations
Yes,
on that. I
thank
mean,
you.
we haven't made a big enough deal on that yet. I mean, it's $1 million grant for Orchard Road.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
No, just, it was, my first year here, when Grant was still here. Him and I worked on it a little bit, and then they let you know what you kind of could do to make it better, so I did that. I was kind of was myself this time. We went through the whole thing in late in the spring, and took a while, but I got everything in there they requested, and we were lucky enough to get the grant.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's now we had most of the design done on that, so I reached out to the engineering firm SK, and they're busy at the very moment, but pretty quick they'll be available to get working on things here for us. So
Great, awesome.
I'd like to direct the town manager to write a letter on behalf of the select board to thank Bud for getting this grant for $1 million and place that in his personnel file.
I'll second that.
Motion second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That motion carries.
thanks.
And then any other items is on the agenda too, so I got one for you.
Sure.
How can we tell Mass DOT let us paint the rest of our crosswalks blue? I mean, I drove up Route 20, coming up the highway, they're all red and white, you know, and people are just saying how much they enjoy that.
I can make I can make a call and see what they say.
Should there be a letter from us to say, let's paint our damn sign, because there's safety issues brought up by residents all the time.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, sure.
Up in the Old Mill Trail, where it crosses right there by the
Oh,
bridge.
right before the town line.
Is there any way we can put something there, because I've talked to a couple people that hiked that, and one of them almost got whacked.
Yeah,
by
I
a
could see
car.
that, because that's a tough spot. Nobody would even know it's
So,
there.
what's the mechanism to put something there?
Let me, I can,
Then in Dalton?
No, it's
it's
in
not,
Dalton.
yeah, the part he crosses the road is in Dalton. It's before the Dalton sign.
Oh, down by the bridge.
Yeah, where the river comes
Yeah.
across, right before there. Yep. I can look into that too.
Okay, thank you, that'd be greatly appreciated.
But while you're at that, addressing that with the state.
Yep.
Is 7, maybe 6 crosswalks on Main Street and up to the school, Hinsdale Road.
Yep.
That one was repainted this year, in all the arrows for the school and directionals, right? None of the rest of the crosswalks, like in front of the town hall, in front of the Union Block, down at the intersection, were done this year. Now they've all faded away with the oncoming winter. You probably noticed that. I wonder if there's anything that the state could like, I know it's late in the season to be
Yeah.
painting things, but,
But I can, when I reach out, I can
yeah.
ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And I can do that as well.
Yeah, let's know if we can help with Mass DOT to paint those other sidewalks on their roads, on our roads. but-
All of
That'd
our,
be a good idea.
Yeah.
especially when we go, especially on Main Street.
If they say
Yeah,
no.
they're all on Main Street and one on, it's Hinsdale Road, but
Yeah.
still Route 8.
Right.
That was done, but the other ones weren't.
Yep.
And how's your heating conditions?
Hey, the contract signed, so it's coming. I think that December 16th, I think it's supposed to be done by, so.
Oh, good, okay.
So hopefully we should have it.
At least before Christmas?
Yeah.
Wrap them up with Christmas gift wrapping.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice.
And then, Mr. Hutchinson, did you have an ARPA item for the DPW that you wanted to bring up tonight, or did you want to do that next time? Or was it around the grants?
Yeah, that was around the installation. We don't have a cost for that.
Okay,
Wait on that.
all right, so future.
It's a future one. Yep.
All right, board, anything else for Mr. Hall?
Anyway, we had a brief discussion, myself and Bud, the town manager, about, and the residents, the feasibility of putting in on one side, a sidewalk on Orchard Road. And as Tom explained to me, we're at already basically spent $1 million. I know it's hard to believe, but hey, it's a road, and the drainage and everything is important. So I contacted my good colleagues down at the MPO, and asked if they had any grants available to do a sidewalk on one side. And they says, yeah, actually we do. Right up your alley, John, the Complete Streets Act, and as I told Tom and Bud, they have to get an application in before April 1st. And hey, you'll have the money by the summer. And the more I thought about that, but if we could get that, and in an effort to keep the cost down, perhaps we could consider a sidewalk on a blacktop as opposed to a concrete one. Would that seriously reduce the cost?
Yeah, because the couple sidewalks I did, it was this fall, we did one over here, concrete, one up by the Craneville blacktop.
Mhm.
And there was about 2-to-1 ratio, concrete's about
Yeah.
almost twice as
So-
much, because it's just so much more
I know
work.
Bill, what's his name, traffic commissioner, Bill,
Josine,
Josie is working on this,
yeah,
and yourself and Tom, and if you word it that way,
Yeah.
you stand a better chance of getting it.
right, yeah, it's something to definitely look at. It's, Tom and I have a meeting tomorrow about it,
Good.
so, tomorrow morning, so.
And cut the cost down, get
Yeah.
the same type of, service for the haters.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it myself, there's 6 feeder streets that go into Orchard Road. And they serve all the students in that northeast section of town that walk to Nescus and Wacona. So I think it's really important, and from a handicap point of view, you know, we have a lot of interest there from
Right.
various citizens. So,
Yeah, great. So we're looking at it. We're gonna start that, more work tomorrow on that, actually.
Great.
Excellent. All right. Anything else for the board, Bud? Okay, hearing none, thank you, Bud. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, number 8, the discussion on the CBRSD proposed regional agreement. Anybody have any comments of what you may have reviewed? And the thought here is, so Dan is representative for the 7-Town Advisory, and Dr. Irwin is, but Dr. Irwin's unable to attend this evening. And so this is our first review of the CBRSD updated regional agreement. And all the towns have time to submit their remarks for the select board for consideration by the school committee, and then when they get those comments back, then it goes to the school committee for a vote, and past the school committee vote, then it goes to DESI for review. DESI reviews it and finalizes it, then it comes to town meeting this spring.
Joe, what do you regard as the highlights of the agreement, or the important, is there any substantive changes?
I think there's 2 substantive changes to your question, Mr. Bullen, thank you for that. One is the Section 1 type of regional school district. In our previous regional agreement from 1997, the type of regional school district, which would have been 97, I think, Section 2, is that the regional school district shall comprise all grades from kindergarten through grade 12. In the new agreement, it says shall be comprised of all grades from pre-kindergarten through grade 12. The current pre-K program, if folks aren't familiar with it, is a tuition-based program. So my question back to the committee is, are we as 7 towns pre-committed or to a pre-K program in which our costs for the district will go up? Because if it's a tuition-based program, there's no cost, but there's nothing in the current regional or the proposed regional agreement that states whether or not that's still a tuition-based program or not. So I think that's one change that I have a question on. And then the second is the good old capital project incurring of debt in Section 6. In the prior agreement in 97, which would have been, I think now, Section 5 maybe? Oh, let me find the- incurring Section 10 in the prior agreement. And Section 10 is silent to the state law, and I don't know when the state law went into effect. So it's silent on the state law. And the new section for incurring of debt, which is in the proposed agreement, Section 6, if you can just read this for the record for the viewers at home. The committee may vote to incur debt consistent with the terms and conditions of Mass General Law, Chapter 71, Section 16. At the time of taking action to incur debt and except for the incurring of debt in anticipation of revenue, the committee shall follow the process that appears in subsection D of Mass General Law, Chapter 71, Section 16, unless by a 2/3 vote The committee chooses to follow the process that appears in subsection N, as in Nancy, at Mass General Law, Chapter 71. You may or may not recall what those sections are from prior conversations, but Section D is the town-by-town vote, and any one town can kill the capital project. So Section N is the popular vote. So that's also a clarification to align to state law, but the committee is basically saying that they will go with the town-by-town vote for any incurring of debt, capital debt, really. And so with the town of Dalton, what's our percentage of capital expenditures? 62%? I think
Somewhere right around that.
somewhere around 62%. So if, I don't know what capital projects there could be in the next, how many years we agree to this to the time debt needs to be incurred. But if we say we need a new roof on Essex, and one town says no, then it's no. If they choose to decide, not if they choose to decide because they need a 2/3 vote to go to the popular vote. So 2/3 vote of the school committee, they have what, 15 members? I think they have 15 members, so 2/3 of 15, whatever that comes out to be. So, and I think the reason why they did that is going back to the new school vote and some of the issues that the other towns had. But I think a lot of residents, no, I shouldn't say a lot, it's just people I've chatted with would prefer a popular vote. I would prefer a popular vote because we have more of a liability. But, and I think as a district, one person, one vote, but that would be the recommendation to make that change. The likelihood of the school committee accepting that is probably low, I don't know. But that would be the substance, that would be the big change.
Yeah, I was afraid, I don't like that at all either, Joe. Popular vote, or even the old methodology of a majority of the towns. So if you had 4 and 3
Yeah.
voted against it, it would pass.
Yeah.
Now, one town, I'm not singling anybody out, but Peru, or even Covington, who's still in the district, that's never really been resolved.
Yeah, they're still in.
Yeah, they're still in it, but they threaten to get out. I mean, they can sabotage anything the other towns
Yeah, just
are all in favor of.
for background on that, kind of like the majority of the towns voted in favor of it, that was available in the agreement back in 1953 or 54. State law changed over time, and we've actually went to DESI. This is prior to my time I stepped down from the 7th town and Dan stepped in. We went to DESI with options, and that was one of the options, and DESI said you can't do that per state law. So the only options that the district has is what's in front of us. That's it. Until state law
Any one
changes
town?
again. Any one town can kill it,
That's right.
or you go to popular vote. But there has to be a 2/3 vote of the committee to do
To
that.
institute that, that would be 9 or 10.
So my questions, back to your question about the changes, Mr. Bull, is just in that section 1 in which they state pre-kindergarten. So my question is, are we now going to financially support pre-kindergarten, move away from a tuition-based program, and then the incurring of debt would be the second one. The rest of it, I didn't see any major, OPEB is always an issue, the withdrawal, but they had legal look at that. I don't think we want to get too far into that one, but, and then the other thing that is in here that I forgot to mention is when they do go into the budget process, I thought they were not going to put this in, but I saw it, I was happy to see it, is that they're going to meet with the 7 towns, I forget, it's in section 4. In February, prior to the public hearing, the district shall hold a budget roundtable meeting for the member towns. So that's in there, under section 4, so that's good. For those are the changes.
So where are we right now in the process of ratifying this agreement?
This is the first pass for select boards to review the agreement. I emailed to Leslie and to our superintendent and the chair of the school committee that we're going to review this together as a select board. send some comments back and then invite them to our next meeting. They're not clear on when they need to have things back to DESI, but I assume it's around January, February time to have it back to DESI.
Thanks for doing all that.
I mean, are we supposed to make a recommendation or vote or anything?
If we, I think for purposes of this review, I would suggest, John, that, and board, that we have clarification what this pre-K program is. Is it a shift from tuition-based to seven-town financially supported? I'm really concerned about incurring debt in that model. So
Makes sense.
I would move to, my thought is that it should be flipped. It should be popular vote, or 2/3 need to use the other, but, because what their attorney is stating is that you need to follow state laws, you need to have both in the agreement, and some structure to leverage one or the other. Dan, do you recall that from any discussions you had with Seventown on section 6?
Yeah, well, my views are a little different. I think the way that it's written is the way that I would support it personally, and as a member of the select board, Dalton, in that I believe that each town should have the power in and of itself to reject the incurring of debt if they so choose. I have no problem with that. No, there is an out. If a proposal were to be voted down by a particular town, the school committee can, they have some time where they can present another, let's prepare another proposal which may be the same as any prior proposal, and they could do a 2/3 vote to go majority at that time. So they do have ways to address it if one town is holding it up. But I think the default should be to have more powers with individual towns. That's my view. Regarding the other change, let me pull up the agreement again that you had discussed. I support the question about the pre-K being included in the composition of the district, or type of regional school district rather, section 1. I think that question could be clarified. Is it still a tuition-based program that supports that? Or are we going to be subsidizing that? Are we going to be paying for that with no tuition charged for pre-K programs?
No, you would support no tuition? Dan, you would support no tuition on the pre-K?
Roundtable, every February, a roundtable budget meeting, which I don't believe was in the previous agreement.
Yeah, that was something new that Seven Towns pushed, to have some sort of meeting before.
Just real quick on the pre-K, is if if it is on the towns and it's not gonna be fee-based, then Dalton should get 62% of the spots. If we're paying 62% of the cost.
It's not clear how that cost would be, it's not clear how that cost would be structured, but to your point, Mark, right?
Yeah.
So, Dan, I guess, board, should we have Dan as our seven-time advisor, bring this back to the superintendent and school committee chair to get clarification on pre-K? And then clarification on incurring debt, because I'm not sure if it fails, if then the committee can go the other route. I know they can bring back another proposal. I don't know if they can go from that to popular vote. I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't understand the mechanisms there.
I think that's a good
My
idea.
understanding is that if it was to be voted down by one town and it failed, it would fail district-wide, but then they could come back with another proposal that could be the same as the original proposal for another vote. The question will be, can they then exercise exercise option B and vote 2/3 of the school district to go with a majority 51% vote?
Yeah, I don't think so, because it's specifically outlined in D and doesn't say anything about refer and reflecting back. And if you look at the MGL, there's nothing there that lines up that you can flip it to a popular vote after a
If you
failed.
go to the MGL though, I have the MGL up.
Yep.
The MGL gives the district the right. It says in section D, as an example, if at that meeting, and this is just in one town, if at that meeting a majority of the voters present in voting express disapproval of the amount authorized by the district committee, the debt shall not be incurred, and the district school committee shall prepare another proposal which may be the same as any prior proposal, and an authorization to incur debt therefore. So they can present the same proposal again if they want to try it. The question is, can they switch to the 2/3, or can they switch to the majority vote at that time?
Yeah, I know they can bring another proposal, but I just don't know if they can switch the methodology for the vote.
Yeah, that's a good question.
If it is the way you're, Dan, if it is the way you're saying, I do like that.
You do what?
I like it, if it is the way you're saying, I do like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
basically, I think that each member town should have some power in the relationship and should have some ability to determine whether they, as a town, want to take on additional debt. But at the same time, if there's a very present need to spend, for a capital expenditure, that, that there is an out, that there's a way for the district to maybe still get it done, even without that town support. But I think the default to have more power to the towns, in my opinion, is a more fair default move. But, that's my view. So.
Joe, I agree with your suggestion, Dan.
To the pre-K, are there any other?
Dan, if you could clarify these questions the board has, particularly on the preschool, pre-kindergarten, and bring us back that information at the next meeting, which I think is in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on the regional agreement?
Yeah, any other thoughts, anything they should bring up?
Yeah, just those few, we're good.
Okay.
Hey, Dan, how about the status on the track thing? Did it ever get built? The new service for the running track
Oh, yeah.
is done?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's done, and,
Is it being utilized? I mean,
yep, yep.
good.
Yeah. One of the, to your question, and maybe it's a future, or just for awareness, I on that new track, when you buy the bleachers, there's like such a dip on the side. I've seen some folks that have mobility issues, and it's I think, possible trip hazard, but doesn't let folks know about that, but see what they do with it. All right. Let's see, report out of the public safety collaboration meeting. John, I took your comment when we had the last committee, was talking about the fire district, safety concerns, didn't know really what to do with them. Had a meeting tonight with Tom and Chief Strout. Chief, what's the other chief's, how do you pronounce his last name? Chawinski, and the chair of the water district, Jim Driscoll. And we had a very good, I think, a direct conversation, Chief, would you say? And Becky was there with us as well. And the agreement is that we raise these safety concerns, which are anonymous, so it's hard to talk about the detail around it. But there's also, I think we had a very frank, direct conversation, but the leadership of the fire district is if any past or present firefighter has any safety issues, they can talk directly to the chief, and he's committed to addressing them. And also, he is putting in an education program this winter to look at the safety standards, and there's some gaps in those safety standards that he recognizes, and he put in a training program, so that's great. We also talked about some of the medical response municipal aid issues when they get called out of town, how our police officers may be waiting a good period of time for response, and talking about the staffing model. And we also discussed around the staffing challenges for the ambulance as well in general across the county. And so it was a good, open, direct conversation of concerns, and a commitment to continue the conversation as we turn into the new year. Tom, anything to add to that? Anything I missed?
No, I think that was a great precinct.
Okay. Chief, anything, Becky? Anything?
Oh, we did agree to a further meeting in the new year.
Yep. And then also, there's questions around that were discussed in general when it comes to an ambulance service. You know, when they get called out, a municipal aid, and the model that we have today, is there a different staffing model, and would the town actually support that cost, right? Whereas the current ambulance cost structure is paid for a lot by these runs, if you will, right? And creating the revenue from those runs. Would the residents of Dalton like to see a different staffing model? And, you know, so that's further conversation. But it was a good conversation, to say the least. So, but Tom or Chief, if there's nothing else to add, it's basically the update on that. Okay. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, is the fire district currently looking to fill the fire chief position? Are they actively, do they have any candidates, do they have any, or we don't know?
I know they had some interviews a month and a half ago,
Yeah.
so, but I don't know the status of the.
I don't know if that was active or not, so,
Yep.
it's good enough.
Any other questions? Okay, town manager evaluation discussion. Sorry for the technical issue on that, but hopefully everybody had a chance to review the questions. I also sent along a PDF of the questions, asked for email responses by this evening. I've received none.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Am I using your wrong email address again? It might be Bob.
Sure. Now I feel like, you know, one of them. No, I didn't get anything.
R. Bishop 52?
Yeah,
Yeah.
52 at Gmail.
Yeah.
I don't have it. I wonder if it went to my,
Sure, when you send them out?
I'm looking at Bob, John, sorry. I'll get it straight.
no worries.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I think you brought up a good point in your comments in the email that if we were to change them, we kind of lose sight of a baseline or consistency with the previous evaluation. So I thought for consistency, no change in the questions was warranted. Did not provide any feedback to change anything.
okay. My original email was sent out on October 31st,
Let's see.
and then again on November 6th, and then again on November 9th.
You send mine to my governmental email?
Nope, johnboyle.dalton@gmail.com. And Bob.
Can I ask you to send one out to my governmental email address?
Sure.
Thank you. Probably why I didn't get it.
No, when was it, November?
November 9th.
Oh, that was right.
Okay, so if you guys haven't seen it then, let me just go and extend that to the end of this week, if that's okay.
Always.
Well, thank you for your comments, Dan. Yeah.
Oh, it's R.W. Bishop, this one.
And to be
I
clear,
did hard done,
responses
Bishop.
are not open yet, right? We're just.
Right, we're just looking for the feedback on the question, so it's no harm, no foul.
Yeah, it's R.W. Bishop 52.
I mean, I think if the board would agree, if you're consistent with the previous evaluation, the same questions makes the most sense, but maybe the rest of the board could weigh in. I don't know that we need more time to decide that.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you, Dan.
Distributing the survey and opening up the responses.
No one.
So Dan, your suggestion is to follow the same questions as last time? That I was indicating because we have a baseline, we can measure based on baseline?
Yes, and so that way you can proceed with opening it up for responses sooner rather than later.
Mark, you're okay with
I
that?
agree with that.
Yeah.
Bob, you okay with
That's
that?
good, it's then you get a one-to-one.
Even though you,
Sounds good.
Is it gonna
Okay.
go to the department heads too, like?
yeah, same law that we did
Same
last
amount and
time.
everything,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the evaluation questions as presented? Or as discussed? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, what did you want these back?
What back?
Feedback from you?
Oh, I'm gonna give it a few weeks, so we kind of look at it mid-December.
Okay.
Tom, town manager update?
Right. Financial staff are in the process of setting the FY24 tax rate. We had some issues last year we're hoping to avoid, and I think we're on track for that. The assessors are working with our contractor to make sure we get the values in on time. And the accountant reports that she's finalizing the estimated receipts document, which she will send to some of the department heads for their input, as she plans to increase some of them a bit. We've had more local receipts than anticipated. She anticipates finishing the rest of the tax rate schedules this week, and then we'll close out FY23. I'll be meeting with staff tomorrow, police department staff, to sort out one remaining issue regarding the police detail fund. Shifting the locus of control to the police department certainly solved the major problem. So I look forward to reporting the conclusion of the matter soon. I think we're right on track with it. Optimistic. We've run into a snag on the town garage insulation project. We got approved for part of the proposal, but the proposal includes an item that the DPW superintendent was not fully aware of, that the town is responsible for moving pipes and wires off the walls, which will cost money he does not have in his budget. I'm working with the Center for Ecotechnology, who's assisting in funding the project through a Berkshire Gas program, to check on the deadline for completing the project, and with the DPW superintendent on a probable cost for possible alternate funding. We anticipate it being in the $5,000 to $8,000 range, though we have not gotten any quotes yet. We might request additional ARPA funding, as the Chair mentioned earlier, to fill that gap so we can move forward sooner rather than later. The owner of one of the hoarding cases in town on High Street is moving forward with preparing the house for demolition or sale. The house has been cleared of debris and the oil tank was taken out last week. The garage still has items in it, but we have not had any neighbor complaints. On a related note, I've come up with a starting document for discussing a cleanup fund for residents as suggested recently, and we'll be happy to share that with the board when it's appropriate. Our insurance association, Maya, is assisting us in reinvigorating our safety committee, which helps us get the best rates possible. Our buildings and grounds superintendent is the lead on that, and he's highly trained in OSHA, so it seems a good fit. We'll have quarterly meetings and go over our activities and claims with Maya to be sure we're doing the best we can. I expect to get a quote for buying an easement from LP Adams for land the town installed drainage in, apparently with the promise that we would follow up with the purchase. Depending on the quote, I might ask for ARPA or reserve fund funding for that so we can bring the easement to town meeting in May. We could also fund it in May as well. I have a running list of possible money and other articles for town meeting, which I can share at the select board's pleasure, hopefully well before discussing the town meeting warrant as a whole this spring. The town is hosting a volunteer appreciation brunch for those who work with the town on its many areas of work as volunteers, including all board and committee members. It is scheduled for Sunday, December 10th, here at the Senior Center.
September 10th, what time? No, December 10th, what time?
Yeah, December 10th, I believe it's 11 to 1.
That's 11 to 1.
Okay.
And people are starting to RSVP for that. We'd be happy to have as many people as possible, including, of course, all of you. And that's my report for this week.
Great, thank you. Any questions for our town manager?
Just a comment about junk houses or demolished houses or houses in rough shape. The one at 426 High Street, at the corner of High Street and the entrance to the landfill. The one we were going to defer taxes on and all that crap. Well, somebody took it over. They're rehabbing it. They're doing one heck of a job. I mean, it looks really good. They've done the house, the garage, and I think it's near completion, at least on the outside. And they've done a fantastic job. I hope you guys go by there and notice it.
Yeah.
And we did not have to offer the tax forgiveness.
Tax rebate or tax deferment, whatever it was gonna be.
I believe that's a young kid that did that too, John.
Who did it?
Young kid. Young kid did it. Young kid graduated a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, it's really fantastic. It looks great.
Yeah,
Nice color.
yeah.
They're really good guys. They're a real credit to the town.
Absolutely.
I mean, that house was, I don't know, abandoned for, 10, 12 years.
Any other town manager questions? Hearing none, any future agendas? All right. Any items not anticipated 48 hours before the meeting?
Yes.
Mr. Boyle?
And I have one as well.
I think this is important, but you may not think so. I don't think this board, in its efforts to resolve many complicated issues and issues that overlap what I'm going to say, but I don't think we ever voted to, what's the word?
Rescind.
No, we never did.
The town warrant.
Yep, no, we never voted to call a special town meeting, designated the place, the time, and the date.
I think you're right, John, because we were
know.
we were trying to find out if Wacona was available.
Well, we were dealing with the police thing.
Yeah.
And in the motion made by the chairman and amended by yourself, Mark, you suggested we schedule a special town meeting. But to the best of my knowledge, we never followed through and did that. And it's important to do that before anything can happen. Any warrants can be drawn or scheduling can be made.
If I may, I think the direction that I got was to find out what dates were available. And I was given a couple of different possibilities from the board, one in December and one in January, with a preference towards the earlier one. And we did confirm that, and so that's what I went ahead and drafted the warrant to
There's
reflect.
no problem, but I think we have to take a vote.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and I think Tom,
What happened here is, on that subject, we were involved in the police resolution of the money issue. And we got done with that, the chairman asked the town clerk how soon we could have a town meeting. And she listed all the, hoops she had to jump to before we could do it. And she said, probably the first part of November, December. And that's where we left it.
We're talking about the second week of January, the second week of December, were the options we discussed as a board. Then Mr. Bishop suggested let's meet earlier in December, and we directed our town clerk to give us a date for the second week of December, if it was available, and it's available. And
Is there any negative impact by just calling for the date that's scheduled now? Just to be on the safe side?
Hey, I'll make a motion. I mean, it's maybe, I don't know, it's not on the agenda, but it's part of what we were talking about that was on the agenda today. I move that we conduct a special town meeting on December 13th at 7 p.m. at Wacona Regional High School.
I'll second it.
Motion is second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
And I noticed that it hasn't been posted yet, this meeting for December 13th.
No.
And so I thought maybe the town clerk was waiting for a formal vote by the select board before she did that.
Well, we're waiting to clarify what we're gonna put on it.
Well, she will now print out the warrant as revised. We'll let you know to come in and sign it at town hall, and then it will be posted.
Any other items?
Yes. Let me just note that town council, Katie Klein, is here with perhaps I hope, if not the final, the next to final.
What's the topic?
Item on the Barden farm, because the select board actually needs to make a decision before Friday, and she can explain to you what that is. Ms. Klein, if you can be sure to speak up loudly, that would be helpful.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So you may remember that approximately 60 days ago, a little bit less than that, we submitted a copy of the executed purchase and sale agreement for the Barden Farm to the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources, because the MDAR, as it is shortened, has a right of first refusal on this property. And they had 60 days in which to make a determination. That 60 days expires on Friday, November 17th. And so on this past Friday, on November 10th, I received a communication from the legal counsel for MDAR saying that MDAR would elect to exercise its right of first refusal unless the purchaser under the agreement submits a satisfactorily revised business plan. So in connection with the purchase and sale agreement that we submitted to the state, the buyer of the property was required to submit a plan as to how she was going to farm the property. And a document was submitted that she prepared. And the MDAR is of the opinion that that document is not, well, satisfactory, and partially because it's not complete. It doesn't really explain how she intends to farm the property. And when I spoke with attorney Corey Fox is his name, apparently the buyer and her counsel had a one or more meetings with MDAR, and she indicated that what she would like is to build a residence on this property, which is actually not permitted under the existing agricultural preservation restriction. and that she didn't really intend to farm the property in any extensive way, and intended perhaps to do a vegetable garden for her own personal use. So what Attorney Fox said is that in the absence of an amended business plan, the town could either, well, if that doesn't happen, the town could withdraw its, the submission of the offer of the purchase and sale agreement, and basically the town would have to start all over again. By Wednesday of this week, November 15th, either the buyer has to submit this business plan, the town could withdraw its offer, to MDR to buy the property, or the town could just let things be as they are now, in which case MDR would exercise its right of first refusal sometime after the 60 days, which ends on Friday. So the select board needs to make a decision as to how it wants to proceed at this point. And I don't think that, it's my understanding, I haven't spoken with the buyer, I haven't spoken with the buyer's counsel, who I didn't even know existed until Friday. I don't get the sense that there's going to be a sufficient business plan submitted. But the town could also ask for an extension for a little bit to see if a business plan could be put together.
Mr. Boyle, you have a question?
Yeah. Ms. Klein, just to clarify, we know everything about this. If MDR exercises their option, their legal right to exercise an option to purchase it, is it at the same price the potential buyer had offered the town and made a down payment at?
That's correct.
Okay, so if we let things just go and MDR buys it, they give us $150,000.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
I'm in favor of giving her a little extension to see if she can come up with a viable plan.
But is it up to us to give an extension or MDR people?
Well, I think it would be, MDR, I think, I haven't run this past MDR, but I think it's up to the town to request one from MDR and see whether MDR agrees that we can extend this whole situation by a little bit.
Yeah, I would like to see if we could.
To give the buyer an opportunity. I think
Are
they'd be
there-
amenable.
Yeah, Attorney Klein and Tom, are there requirements in the invitation for bids that clearly identify the purpose of this land to the buyer? And it was very clear.
Yes.
And that process has taken 60 days to come up with a plan of action, which the buyer has not done, and therefore it's a violation of the invitation for bid. Or a violation of the covenants or the agreements.
It is not satisfactory. If it's not satisfactory to MDR, they retain the right of first refusal, and that was clear.
And so our option is to let it go, and MDR does that. We get the $150,000. Option 2, we give an extension for a period of time and see what that takes us, but there's already been 60 days and very clear black and white of what's required. Or option 3 is we pull the whole thing back.
Joe, in your second option, we can't grant an extension. We have to,
Request one.
of MDR.
That's right. So likelihood of that being extended is probably minimal.
That's why we have to be involved in this. She should ask MDR for an extension.
Well, if the select board decide, well, first, I don't think it would be wise to start over. I think leaving it in MDR's hands is the thing that the town should do right now. If we grant an extension, I don't think it should be particularly long, because there have been 60 days. the word that's coming to us is that there has been no intent to create a reasonable farm plan
No,
as
I
required.
mean, she's talking about building a house and having a vegetable garden. So I would lean towards letting MDR just take care of it, get our money and get out. This has been going on.
Yeah, I personally, Mr. Chairman, I would, in good faith, that it might be okay to try to push for an extension, but at the same time, based on what I've heard, it doesn't sound promising in terms of, the business proposal and meeting MDR's requirements, based on the use that was communicated by the attorney here. The seller's intended use is to build a house, which they can't do, and grow a vegetable garden. That doesn't really do it for MDR. So I'd be inclined to support letting them exercise their right of first refusal and just proceed with a sale to MDR.
Let me just throw this out there as a discussion point or a comment. Would we rather see this land in MDR's hands and let them do with it what they want? Or would we want to take the invitation for bids to buy the land and just repost that? There was something in the paper today about farmers looking for leased land and things of that nature, just to kind of revisit, or somebody buy it that's local or in Berkshire County.
Well, MDR would put it out to bid, but it would be them doing it, not the town. Their goal is to have the land farmed agricultural.
Okay, so they're gonna buy it from us and then sell it to somebody else? Okay,
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
okay, all right.
That's the intent, of course, yes.
Yeah. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion, we allow MDR to exercise their right of first refusal.
Second.
There's a motion second to just let this sit and let MDR exercise its first right of refusal. What happens if motion second discussion. Attorney Klein, what happens if MDR does not buy it, or is that a preconceived position that they will buy it?
They've said that they would buy it, that they would exercise their right, and what they say is if they don't exercise that right, that they lose it, and therefore the town could sell it to whoever they want to with no farm plan in place, although the property would still be subject to the APR.
Still
So it sounds like
It's almost like the legislative process would be quicker. Okay, this motion second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed,
Aye.
abstentions, motion carries.
I oppose.
Oh, okay, Bob opposes.
I get a bit. Declare the vote over?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm really disappointed here. It seems like they, I don't like to use these words, but they acted in bad faith. I mean, I had the impression that the buyer was
No,
gonna do something with
I
it.
think the person that bought it maybe misunderstood, and maybe they just need to revise their plan and give them a little more time.
Well, you got 4 days.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but if we gave them an extension,
Yeah.
then
Oh.
that's my take on it.
Any remarks from the select board? Okay, hearing none. Announcements, annual car permits, bag stickers, recycling only car permits are available for purchase at the transfer station and on the town's website. There are numerous committees and boards and vacancies. Please see the town website for more information or reach out to the town manager's office. Is the electricity bill too high? The town has contracted with Colonial Power to provide an electricity plan for town residents that takes advantage of joining with other communities to have a larger customer base for negotiations, which has resulted in prices significantly lower than current Eversource prices. Please note this may not always be the case. For more detail on opt-in or opt-out, visit the town's website or call the town manager's office. Dalton Housing Authority is seeking a volunteer to fill the vacant seat on this board, must be a resident of Dalton. Please call 413-684-1470 for more information. And the Dalton Police Department would like to remind residents of the winter parking ban, which is in effect from November 15, 2023 through April 15, 2024. There will be no parking allowed on streets between these dates and between the hours of 1 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Mr. Chair, I'd like the opportunity to correct some of my statements. I didn't actually make a statement, but about the Barden land. I did get an inquiry as to whether the buyer of the barn land, if the town would sell it to her to put up a house there. And I communicated that building a house there would not be permitted under the APR because that's what I understood from, I just wanted to get that on the record.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I apologize for not bringing that up earlier, but it didn't really seem germane because it's not allowed anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, though. Thank you. Next regular meeting is scheduled to take place on Monday, November 27th, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the Senior Center with an option for remote participation. And with that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Good night, Dalton.